'Twas the sixth week of college basketball, and here in BR Nation, we were ready to rank national title contenders. That is what we're doing today. I'm your host, Greg Waddell. This is my Sleepers Media co-host, Carter Elliott. He owes his entire career to me, let's be completely honest. But for today, this is what we're going to do. We've got the 12 teams that, if you believe in superstition, are capable of winning a national championship this year. Since 2003, the national champion, who eventually has cut down the nets in March, has appeared within the top 12 of the Week 6 AP poll. We have those 12 teams. We have each individually ranked those 12 teams from most to least likely of actually winning the national championship. It should be fun to unveil this. Plenty of debates along the way. And Card, it's good to be joined by someone who is most likely to eat it all. Carter Elliott.
Oh, that means a lot to me. And on the theme that seems to be jolly for this episode, it's pretty fitting that you're shaped like Mrs. Claus. I'm very excited to do this exercise with you though, Gregory, especially because, spoiler alert, as you can see here, my team and your team currently are in the top 12 after week 6, which feels really, really good for what it's worth. Couldn't imagine being outside the top 12. Why would teams do that 6 weeks in? I don't really know.
And willingly choosing to not be a national championship contender a month and a half into college basketball season? Psh, why would we do that? That's
Couldn't be
crazy.
me.
It's crazy. Yeah, as you can tell, we're feisty today. We believe in both our teams, and there's probably going to be some debates along the way. This is an interactive live show. Reminder, we want your comments and questions throughout. We will be keeping an eye on those. We'll take them periodically throughout the show. I already see some hashtag play somebodies. Yeah, we need to play somebody up at the top of the AP poll. You're right. Cart, let's get right into this, though, today. This should be fun. We're going to go reverse order here. We're going to start at 12 and work our way up to 1. So of the 12 potential national championship winning teams, who is the least likely to actually win the national championship? I'll go first. You can go next. We'll give our number 12 team, and then we'll fight it out from there. My number 12 most likely team to win the national championship is your Michigan State Spartans.
12?
12.
Go ahead and tell me why.
I don't think there's enough offense here.
You don't think there's enough offense here?
I don't think there's enough offense here, period. I think this is the reality of a Michigan State team in a post-Jace Richardson world. Now, don't get me wrong. You're tough as hell. Do I think you can make a Final Four run? Absolutely. But we're talking about the best of the best right now. These are 12 teams that can make a Final Four run. Just the idea of being tough and getting to a Final Four is not what we're after in this exercise. We're talking about a team who can win 6 straight games in March. There was a number that circulated last year pre-NCAA tournament. And don't get me wrong, last year's Michigan State team did have the shot-making answers that could ultimately have won a national championship. However, there were still questions on a team that shot from 3 as poorly as last year's Michigan State team did. Can they actually do it? There's a history of teams that are that bad from the three-point line actually winning 6 straight. You go cold at some point in a 6-game sample size. This year's team is marginally better from 3. I would point out this year's team is getting threes from Jeremy Fears and Cohen Carr right now. Jeremy Fears and Cohen Carr, who we just saw what they looked like from 3 against a good defense against Duke. Those makes stopped making. I don't think this team has the offensive firepower to win 6. I think they can win 4, but I think in this group of elite teams, toughness only gets you so far. They've got to be the lowest on the totem pole.
Listen, I don't have too many actual qualms about that. I think it's safe to say, I think it speaks to Michigan State's floor, kind of what they are as a team. Like they're going to have a chance because, not to do the standard is the standard type things here. Defense wins championships. And also, this team has knocked down shots against good defensive teams thus far this year. So can they do it? Yes. Are you banking on them doing it 6 games straight and getting to a national championship game just based off defense? There's a chance, but it's probably lower than I think other teams that might be on this list. So I'm not completely mad at you on that list. I'm switching it up a little bit though, because the team I have at 12 is all defense. All offense instead of all defense. I have Louisville at 12 on this list for mine because I think a lot is predicated on the fact that I think Louisville needs to be great offensively. And I have seen this year when they were met with a little bit of defense and a little bit of toughness at Bud Walton Arena, and the my turn, your turn ball was not working for Michael Brown and Ryan Conwell. They really had nothing because they don't really have much in the front court on that team and provide much defensively as far as resistance. So could this team get hot and win 6 games? Hell yeah, they could. They probably have the best, if not one of the best backcourts in the country. I also see a world and envision a world where an Elite Eight or a Final Four, this team can't hit shots and they possibly get ran off the floor by a team who can defend and also play offense at the level they're playing.
Okay. Now, in the context of this discussion, I'm not mad at putting Louisville last because I think there are more red flags with Pat Kelsey's program right now than most of the other teams on this list. I won't spoil where they're going to be as we work our way up here. They don't go much higher on mine, so I can see why you would put them last. Pat Kelsey's never won a tournament game. It's hard for a guy who's never won one tournament game to suddenly win 6. And as good as Michael Brown and Ryan Conwell have been, I do think they're very vulnerable to the cold shooting night. If they go 3 for 40 from 3, do they have other ways to beat you? Michigan State, as an example, does. Louisville certainly does not right now. I want to go back to one thing you said real quick on Michigan State when you were kind of shooting me down here. And I get I'm the rival fan, but you said Michigan State has made shots against good defenses. Is that just the Carolina game?
Oh, doesn't Arkansas actually grade out pretty good defensively or no?
Michigan State didn't make shots that game.
Made enough.
1 for 14 from 3.
Made enough from 2-point range.
Yeah, missed me on that. That's kind of a data point towards my point. They're not good from 3 against good defenses. North Carolina's the one you did shoot well. Cart, you only attempted 10 threes against Carolina.
What about UNC?
You went 5 for 10. You made 5 threes. Is that enough to win a national championship?
Yeah, if you're within the top 12, yeah.
No, it's enough to beat North Carolina, who's nowhere near the top 12.
Okay, keep going on your list, man. Do away with the hate.
The big game you had the shooting was Michigan State. You went 11, or Kentucky. You went 11 for 22 from 3. That was back when people thought Kentucky might be good.
Okay. I hear you out, man. You make a lot of great points. I understand.
I just want to see it is all I'm saying. Up the list,
front runner. I know.
Up the list to number 11, I have Alabama next. Who do you have at 11?
Sorry, you really threw me off by going back to that. I thought we moved on from 12. Why are we going back to it?
Well, we're at 11, and I have Alabama. Who do you have?
Oh, you really pissed me off there. I have Alabama at 11 as well.
Hey, bring it in.
No, shut up.
Bring it in.
No.
Mwah, mwah. Yeah, why do you have Alabama at 11?
Because they have LeBaron and Philon. And LeBaron and Philon with Aiden Holloway. Greg, I'm a sucker for a team that can get a great guard in March. And LeBaron and Philon is good enough to get this team to a Final Four and is good enough to win this team a national championship, truly.
Why would you have them higher? You just gave the pitch for Alabama. I'm asking, why are they down at 11 on this list?
Because they're very top heavy at the same time.
Okay.
They're very top heavy. And at the same time, as they could have guards that are great in this mold. I think there's some teams ahead of them. The teams that are towards the top of my list, I think they have some of the same qualities as the team at the bottom, but it's more so they have a little bit more balance, right? It's not like, oh, all offense, all defense. It's a little good mixture of both that I think will kind of give them a better chance to win a national championship.
Okay, I'm fine with Alabama at 11. That's where I have them as well. They are right beneath a team you just talked about, Louisville. I'm spoiling myself. But the reason I have Alabama one spot below Louisville, to me, very similar archetypes, right? They want to bomb threes. They want to make a million shots from outside. The question for me is, what can you do when shots don't go in from outside? Alabama's answer is let LeBaron Philon rock. He can certainly get you 30 and get downhill and score. He also has done that in losses for Alabama this year. They don't have answers in the front court at all. I don't trust any piece of this Alabama front court. I at least trust Sonata Frew from Louisville to be a guy. I know I'm spoiling my list upwards, but Alabama to me this year is a very good team. Nate Oates' ball is great. It's just a team that I don't think is the best version of Nate Oates basketball that we've seen in a while. I'd be pretty surprised if this was the Alabama team to ultimately get him over the hump and be remembered as a national championship team. Let's check in with the chat real quick. Young Thugs Burner says he disagrees with us. Bama is entirely too low.
Listen, I think that the ceiling of Bama is just pouring it on you offensively, but to your point, Greg, they are kind of in that same box that Louisville's in. The only thing that makes a difference is that I trust Nate Oates more than I trust Pat Kelsey as far as what they do offensively. But it is a lot of like offensive bomb threes. What happens when threes don't fall? What happens when
Right.
you're met with a little bit of physicality? Do you fall off?
You hinting at the G word right now?
G word, what's that?
Little gimmicky.
No, not, it's not gimmicky because it's
Okay.
analytically
All right.
sound, so it can't be
Okay.
gimmicky.
Got it. Got it. Marin says would have put Louisville higher. Yeah, you had them last. I have them coming up in just a moment.
Not as much of a Sonata Frew believer as you are, I think is what makes a difference for you and I.
Ah, my guy Nada.
Yeah, Nada's not for me.
Ah, it hurts. Hayden says not on the list, but thoughts on Tennessee. Do you have any thoughts on the Volunteers?
I think that they are a team that will, of course, make the tournament, right? Like, I'm not saying anything like that. But I do think that they are currently a one-man show, and Nate Ament is currently a mock draft legend instead of being an actual productive basketball player. Why are you just shaking your head at me?
Oh, my bad. I forgot. I'm supposed to talk, just like Nate Ament forgets he's supposed to hoop sometimes. That's my
Ah,
bad. Okay, let's get back to our list. Let's go up here, up to number 10. I have the Louisville Cardinals next, as I alluded to. I'll give my pitch on Louisville, and then we'll get your answer. I have them above Alabama because I like Frew in the front court better than Alabama's bigs. And also, hypothetically, what if Alabama had two LeBaron Philons?
huh?
To me, that's Louisville. Louisville
Ooh.
has two different guards who can get you a March game. To me, if Alabama has a game where Philon doesn't have it or gets in foul trouble, they're dead. If Louisville has a bad game from Michael, they could get a great game from Conwell. If they have a bad game from Conwell, they could get a great game from Michael. I think that combination is special enough. It's going to buy Pat Kelsey some Pat Kelsey insurance in March, which Pat Kelsey definitely needs. It's still probably not enough to win a national championship, but I could see a world where it happens. What are your Louisville thoughts there at 10? Is that too high? And then who do you have at 10?
I think guards win in March, and that to me is the two best guards combination in the sport, in my opinion, truthfully. Good segue here though is that's two guards. At number 10 for me, I have what I think is the best trio in the country, and that's AJ DeBonsa, Richie Saunders, and Rob Wright. Now, these three are immensely talented. For anyone who watched AJ DeBonsa last night in that second half against Clemson, it was one of the better performances I've seen this year. They were down 20 in that game, but the way they came back, ended up winning that basketball game. I don't think there's a better trio in the sport. But the thing is, when I made this list at the start of the season, BYU was way, way higher on this list because I actually believe that as a team, BYU had way more talent, right? They don't. This team doesn't have any depth. The top level talent on this team is extremely high, and that's why I have them at where I'm at in this list. The only thing else that kept them from being higher on my list too is that the slow starts, G. I can't shake the slow starts. Slow starts don't go with March. You are on a single elimination tournament. Slow starts get you sent home and wondering, damn, I wish I would have started faster in that game. We're the better team. So I gotta go with BYU at 10. They should be higher, but can't get over the slow starts and no depth.
Yeah, much like the story of my marriage, when you flirt with something long enough, eventually it will happen. AJ DeBonce and BYU have flirted with disaster basically for an entire month, and they've narrowly avoided it 5 of 6 times. The loss to UConn was, the story became, oh, the comeback. Maybe don't get down 20. They get down 20 all the time. I'm a little higher on BYU than you are in terms of national championship ceiling just because of my respect for that immense talent. But you're totally right. If they keep taking the same approach that you take at Subway, I don't think this is going to work overly well.
You know what? Do you feel better about yourself after those? Like, actually, I know sometimes you do, but like in that moment, did that
Hey,
bring you joy?
no, that was a compliment. When you go to Subway, I know you've been watching your figure. They're like, do you want half or whole? You always take the half. That's BYU's approach to games right now.
I take the whole.
Oh, well, then hopefully BYU can get there as well. Up the list, one spot, two, number 9. This is another one we agree on. Maybe we're just going to alternate agreeing every time here. We both have the Houston Cougars as our ninth most likely national champion. Okay, if we would have said 1 month into the season that we would have Houston the ninth most likely champ, I think we would have slapped each other.
Mhm.
Why have they dropped from a preseason favorite down to the ninth most likely champ?
Because I think so far throughout the season, we've seen the worst version of Houston. And I think it's a good team. Don't get me wrong. That team is 8-1. That team is still everything that they are defensively. We get that, right? That's what they do. But there's still a lot to be wanted from this team. I don't think that Milos Uzan is playing at the level that I thought he would play this season thus far. I think that they have had some really good pieces in Kingston Flemings and Chris Sinak, but I just feel like this team right now is playing at their floor and not necessarily their ceiling. Now, I think that by March they'll be playing at that, but right now, as I look at it, I don't feel good putting them outside the top 10 because it's Kelvin Sampson in Houston. We know what they do as a program, but just to call it like it is, this team has not been overly impressive so far this season.
Right. Yeah, at a certain point, 9 games into the season, you're starting to get enough data points on just what a team is capable of.
Mhm.
If a team hasn't really had any margin of victory blowout wins, it's got to mean something at some point. This team has not won a game outside of Oakland. They did beat Oakland by 33. They have not won another game against a top 300 opponent by more than 20. Like that, they're just in close games, and that's not what the best teams in the country do. They create separation. We've seen Houston do that for years. In the non-conference, normally they blitz bad teams and win games by 50. This team's not doing that for whatever reason, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me other than youth because they are physically dominant. I love their guards, and Sinak's a freak. He's an NBA center. It just doesn't feel like there's the sense of urgency that we normally see from Houston teams. And that Tennessee loss should not be scary, but Tennessee has not looked good since that game against Houston. For me, it is falling in my eyes. I think this might just be a little too young of a Houston team to mesh with what Sampson needs to put out a championship product. And I think I'm okay with dropping them the same way you are down to 9 right now. Let's go back to the chat. Mason Miller says Houston will figure it out. Their offense is just stagnant. Yeah, why though?
Youth is what I attribute it to. And also, like, straight up, you got to expect more out of Milos. Like, he's an all-American level player in point guard, and he just hasn't played like that thus far this season. Now, he'll figure it out. I think he figured it out last season. I thought you would hope he would kind of hit the ground running this season. He hasn't done that thus far, and I think that is leading to a little bit of the offensive stagnation.
I think the problem is that in terms of like puzzle pieces here, last year Houston had a perfect puzzle. They lost Jawan Roberts and LJ Cryer and basically said, oh, what if we got another Milos Uzan? Two Milos Uzans isn't better than like surrounding Milos with some better things. Kingston Flemings has been great, and Milos doesn't know how to adjust to it to me. I'm not sure they're going to figure that out. I'm really not. I think they're missing a post scorer on this team that they just don't have. Floating Pearl says, what do you think of the Arkansas Razorbacks?
They're my toxic Buki Bear. I'll never leave them ever. I don't care how much. I don't care if they hurt me. I don't care if they win 1 point games against Winthrop. I'll be there.
I thought I was your toxic Buki Bear.
No, you're just toxic.
I can't be your Buki Bear?
You're my stinker butt.
Gunna's Burner said, will Kansas ever figure it out? Will Darren Peterson ever consistently play multiple games in a row?
Yeah, he will, and they will figure it out. And also, I want to make it known as I stand here, I stand with Gunna's Burner over Young Thug's Burner, even though I love both.
Understood. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. All right. Hey, chat, by the way, we do have our full rankings. We will reveal those at some point later in the show. So stay tuned for that. For now, we're just going to work our way up this list. So up to number 8. I'm going back to a team you already named, but I'm higher on them than you here. Oh, there you go. We're going to show the full rankings now. My bad. BYU is number 8 on my list cart. I'm buying more onto the ceiling of BYU because if they can do it for 20 minutes, why can't they do it for 40 minutes?
There's a lot of things I can think that I can do for 20 minutes that I can't do for 40.
Yeah, but you're you. You're not AJ DeBonsa.
We're similar.
No, you're not.
What would they be doing? Rainbow face. We're a little bit similar.
A little bit similar, physically not similar whatsoever. Look, Kevin Young a year ago took a team full of talent, and in January, they were a very different version than they were in March. I think we're going to see the same thing again this year. This team's going to mature. Kevin Young is going to figure out exactly where to slide the pieces. In terms of just look at these players, who could you envision cutting down the nets? BYU's closer to top 5 for me, honestly. And I had a hard time not putting them there. But I'll put them at 8. If you're going to put them at 10, I'll put them at 8.
Yeah, honestly, I can see AJ DeBonce's YouTube vlog of him like, watch me cut down the nets with like a really funny thumbnail would actually do wonders for the world. You went a little youthful with your pick at 8. My eighth pick is a little bit more up there in age, and you know all about this team. I picked the Zags. I picked the Gonzaga Bulldogs at number 8. Now, did they get their doors blown off by Michigan in the players era? Yes, they did. Also, newsflash, folks, we might be watching one of the greater college basketball teams of all time if Michigan keeps this up. So that might happen to a lot of people that are on this list or in the country. But fact of the matter is, this Gonzaga team is still really, really good and really, really old. Graham EK had a stinker against Michigan. Other players will do that against Michigan. Graham EK is still one of the better post scorers in the country. They pair him with Braden Huff, who I think fits really, really well with him. They also have some really good defensive and just old vetty guards like Tyon Grant Foster and Adam Miller as well. Super is really fun. I think this Gonzaga team is really good and really well coached at the same time. So I had them at 8. They would probably be higher if I didn't watch them lose by 40. I have a hard time putting a team that lost by 40 any higher than 8th on this list.
Yeah, to your point in that Michigan game, they quit. That was part of it. And I think it is hard to envision a team winning 6 straight that you feel like got their will broken in a game this season. I have them 7th, so that's a good segue. Just up one spot on my list. Like, we're only one spot away. I echo all of your thoughts on Gonzaga. I think this is a top 5 team in the sport. I just sort of question exactly what their mental toughness is given how the Michigan result went. But man, Michigan's doing this to everybody right now. It's kind of hard to hold that against them. So, yeah, I feel like you and I, at least in the bottom half of our list, we're pretty aligned because I saw who your number 7 team was here. It's your Michigan State Spartans. And that means that we have the same group of 6 as our 6 most likely national champions. We'll get to that in a moment, but I guess give me your pitch. Why do you have Michigan State 5 spots higher in terms of likely national championship than I did at 12?
So for me, and I might be moral victoring here, so I'm sorry for that because that's not what I stand for. But I think that Michigan State got an awful game from their point guard. They got an awful game from Cohen Carr. They got an awful game from any guard or wing that touched the floor. And we had every chance to beat what I think is one of the best teams in the sport in Duke. And I truthfully think that what Michigan State stands for defensively, rebounding, running, I do think there is a world where also in a one game setting too in the NCAA tournament, going against Tom Izzo is a really, really tough task. Truthfully is. And I believe that this Michigan State team has the Betty aspect to them. I think that they have a great leader and point guard in Jeremy Fears that will play better throughout the season. He's a high assist guy, takes care of the basketball, defends at a high level, as does everybody on this Michigan State team. My youth coach once told me that defense wins championships. I think that Michigan State is one of the best defensive teams in the sport.
If this was a list of teams you want to play the least, I'd put Michigan State number 1 in a single game setting, and I swear to God, I mean that. Like, nobody wants to sign up to play this team, especially at the Breslin Center. They play basketball. It's a crazy brand of basketball. It's just it's not. There's nothing fun about it. Like, they literally want to destroy you to your core, and they do successfully. They did to Cam Boozer for 20 minutes, and Duke was just good enough and mentally tough enough to endure that and come out with a victory. There are teams that will be able to do that. Look, I have no question that a Jeremy Fears team at some point will be a national championship contender. He needs the right pieces around him, though, because he is a guy who will go 0 for 10. He hasn't solved certain parts of the game yet. He's solved many. He's the best passer we have in the sport right now. He's the toughest defender at the point guard position we have in the sport right now. He has not solved the offense for himself. And until he does, he needs the right piece around him. And this team just doesn't have those. A year from now, they will. And a year from now, they'll probably be higher on my list. I think they're a year away from being very much a national championship team. But I can see why you like your team. Let's go back to the chat. B. Robinson 68 says, you guys should know not to underestimate Coach Sampson.
I'm not underestimating them. I think having them where I have them is me not underestimating them because, quite frankly, if this was based on teams and how they played this season, Houston might end up at 12. Like they really have not played well this season, all in all, out of the top 12 teams. But I do believe that Houston and Samson will get it together. And never will I underestimate what a Houston team does. They end up what top five in Ken every single time that they go out every single year. It's just what they
Yeah.
do.
I'm not underestimating or overestimating Kelvin Sampson. I'm just estimating him.
Just
I'm
estimate.
estimating right now he's around ninth. That feels about right. Bama76 says Michigan has the best team in the country and Kansas has the best player in the country. I agree with half of that statement.
I do too.
Yeah. Mizzy203 says, is AJ better than Boozer?
No,
Whoa, I'm surprised that's your answer.
Boozers play better this year.
Yeah. Resume wise, I think that's probably true. It's a great debate. It will be a great debate for 3 more months. Okay, I mentioned our top six are the same. I'm going to bundle together 5 and 6 here for both of us because now that we can see each other's lists, I have Purdue at 5, 1 spot ahead of the team that just beat them by 23 points in their own home. Iowa State is 6th on my list. You flip flopped it. You have Purdue 6.
Hmm.
You have Iowa State 5. Is it as simple as we've seen them head to head and Iowa State stomped them, so they deserve to be ahead?
Yes, that's as simple as it is. I was going between the two teams, and there's one team that beat the other team handedly on their home floor.
So that obviously makes a lot of sense. I have no argument to deny that happened. The only thing for me is sometimes I do think you got to separate what would happen if these two teams play versus what's more likely to happen in the NCAA tournament.
Hmm.
Those are two very different assignments. Iowa State, this group of guys, it's year 4 now. They were a top 5 team last year. They didn't make a second weekend. I like them, but they kind of haven't earned the benefit of the doubt in March for us yet. They've never made an Elite Eight under Otts. It's a very good team. It's a very tough team. Right now, they're playing like a top 4 team in the country. Do I believe that with a Final Four in Indianapolis, Iowa State is likely to win 6 straight? No. No matter how good they are this season, I don't think I will believe that. Purdue, for me, regardless of what happened in Mackey Arena, when it gets to the final single elimination games of Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer and Trey Kaufman-Wren's careers, with the Final Four in their home state, I expect a different version of Purdue than what we saw in Mackey Arena against Iowa State.
I don't have too many pushbacks on that. I went back and forth with this one. I just, in my heart of hearts, I couldn't put the team that just beat the one team ahead of them. It felt wrong.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but I don't know. Maybe I took the route of the AP poll voters and I did something that doesn't make a lot of sense.
That would align.
Is that fair? Is it fair to say, like, in terms of tiering this, looking at the top half of both our lists, we have the same groups of 6 teams just rearranged. What do you feel like the top tier of this is? Because for me, both Purdue and Iowa State right now, as good as they are, I would be relatively surprised if it was either one of them that actually won the national championship. Do you agree with me on that?
Who was the other team besides Iowa State?
Purdue and Iowa State.
No, I think the people in my top six would be the teams that I would associate as like, oh, they won a national championship this year. Yeah, makes sense.
So any basically above Michigan State, Purdue up for you is like, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, honestly, any team in the 12, but for sure, like if I had to tear it off, it'd be cut off at 6.
Okay, my cutoff is at 4, just for the record, and that's no disrespect to Purdue because I think they'd be a worthy champ. I think there's 4 teams that would not be surprised at all. And given where Purdue's defense is right now, I think I'd be a little mildly surprised. Let's go up the list and talk our 4th spot next. I have UConn at 4. It's Dan Hurley's Huskies. I believe you also have UConn at 4. Is that correct?
No, I have Duke at 4 on my list.
You have Duke at 4.
Duke at 4 on my list. I went UConn one higher than you. Just because I saw the fully, I think UConn right now fully healthy with Braylon Mullins back in the fold. Plus the fact of the matter is that Dan Hurley's a back-to-back national champion with a chip on his shoulder. And I think that this team hasn't even played their best basketball yet, or been fully healthy yet. And when they are doing that, this is gonna they're gonna be in the Final Four. They might they're at four. I'm sorry, they're at three on my list. They might be like the team I place like a surefire bet on being in the Final Four though, and feel good about it.
Yeah, okay. Is that Dan Hurley belief more than anything?
Dan Hurley and team construction.
Like you like the roster fit?
I like the roster fit. Yep.
Yeah, okay. I mean, they definitely earned a lot more love from me after the win in MSG against Florida last night. Can I make a pitch to you on why I think Duke should be ahead of UConn
Yep.
in terms of national championship likelihood?
Mhm.
Go back any number of years ever, literally in our entire 32 years of existence on this planet.
Mhm.
Pick a national champion, say it out loud to me, and then say their best player. It's going to feel like they deserved a national championship. Every single year, that's true. Who is the guy on UConn that you can do that with?
You can choose.
I don't think you can.
Why?
I think there are some of the parts team that's incredible, but I don't think they have the guy that can be the face of a national championship team.
I disagree with that. I think some of the parts can get it done sometimes.
Can you give me an example? Is there a national championship winning team that was the sum of their parts?
I think those Virginia teams could be constituted as some of the parts.
They had some guys. They had like a guy, specifically a Kyle guy. He was incredible.
I mean, Caravan's pretty good in his own right. So solo ball.
That doesn't sound right to me. I don't think solo ball being the best player on a national championship winning team passes the smell test.
Practice.
At least not
You
as
might have practice because you might have to get there.
at least not as well as Cam Boozer does. Do you really want to bet against Cam Boozer in a single elimination setting?
I remember saying that last year with Cooper Flag.
Yeah, and they made a Final Four.
They did make a Final Four. They could for sure make a Final Four.
They led with 8 minutes left, and then okay, I get it. All right, up our list a little bit more here. So I had UConn 4. Maybe the most interesting discrepancy here. We just covered UConn and Duke. I actually have Duke ahead of Michigan. I have Michigan at 3, and Arizona is my number 1 team. And this is not a reverse jinx. It's not. This is not a list of teams that are playing the best right now. This is not a list of teams that I think are just caliber wise the best. It's very often to me that the best team doesn't win in March. Look no further than Duke last year. They did not win in the NCAA tournament. Michigan is the best team in the sport. Do I think they're most likely to win 6 straight right now? I actually don't. And here's why. I'm never going to fully get there with trusting my point guard, Elliot Cadell. Say what I want to about how good he's been, how Dusty's been using him, the sum of the parts, limiting his minutes. That guy terrifies me in high leverage situations. And I look at Arizona. They have one thing Michigan does not have and will not have this season. They have Jaden Bradley. That is the one thing Michigan is lacking. They are lacking the national champ Vetty guard that can just lock down your star and give you 40 great minutes. I don't know who it is. It would have to be Roddy Gale from Michigan. He's not that to me. As good as the front court is, Arizona's front court is similar. Arizona's been my title pick from the jump. I'm not moving off of it. I love my Michigan Wolverines, but I think in terms of likelihood of cutting down the nets, it's Arizona number 1. It's Cam Boozer number 2 for me. It's Michigan number 3.
Yeah, so call me prisoner of the moment. I'll accept it. I love the Arizona team as well. I hear everything you're saying on that. Um, Even as I stand here, Spartan Dog, Wolf through and through, I cannot not have Michigan one on my list. It just is what it is. The eyes don't lie. This team is probably tracking to be one of the best defensive teams of all time in college basketball. They have the most imposing front court probably in college basketball history through and through. Dusty May is a psychotic winning coach. They have talent on the bench. They have talent at the guard and wing spots. I just think that this team is built to be a juggernaut in the sport this year. And do they get there? I don't know. Like your points about Elliot Cadeau being this team's point guard, maybe holding them back from actually getting across the national championship finish line, that could happen. Also, hasn't Elliot Cadeau played in the national championship? Or was he on that team or no?
He was not. He made a Sweet 16 as a freshman, though.
Okay, so like he's a guy who has won games in March. So like if he gets there, he gets there. He might not even matter if he only plays 15 minutes in that case. So like I just don't think you can deny what Michigan has done this year thus far.
You're right. If it's a list of best teams, Michigan's at the top. And honestly, Card, I feel like I just watched you order a salad. I feel like I just watched you do something I never thought you'd do. Give respect to my Michigan Wolverines. So thank you. On behalf of the Michigan congregation, we appreciate you so much for all the work and the praise that you've given Dusty May and my basketball team. I just think, if we're being honest, there's more ways it could fall off the tracks than Arizona has. And I hope I'm wrong, because if this team sustains this level, there will not be another team that cuts down the nets in March for me. So we'll see. All right, let's go to the chats real quick. Bama76 says Duke is only going to get better as the season goes on. I agree with that.
I think so too. And if they figure it out, people are cooked.
Yep. Arizona is number one, deservedly so, but let's not ignore that UConn was missing two starters. That's what JAZ418 says.
You can only play as in front of you.
This is true.
Still went into one of the hardest places to win and won.
Yeah, I like his point there. That wasn't a full strength UConn team. Bama76 says Saturday will tell me if Arizona is really like that. Regardless of what happens Saturday, I think they're going to remain my national championship pick. Can I call my shot, Cart?
Go ahead.
I think they lose Saturday.
Ooh, really?
I think Bama gets them.
I think Jaden Bradley, they're not losing a Jaden Bradley revenge game.
It's going to be fun for sure. It's going to be very fun. All right, let's recap our list real quick. My ranks: I have your team 12th. Sorry, I have Alabama 11, Louisville, Houston, BYU, Gonzaga up to 7. Iowa State one spot below the team. They just blitzed Purdue. I have UConn 4, Michigan 3, Duke 2, and Arizona is my national title pick in terms of likelihood. Can you please recap your top 12 for me?
I surely can. I have Louisville at 12, Alabama at 11, BYU 10, Houston 9, Gonzaga 8, Michigan State 7, Purdue 6, Iowa State 5, Duke 4, UConn 3, Arizona 2, and sorry, your team, Michigan at 1.
And Brad Underwood, thank you so much for trying this year. Hopefully next year you can crack the top 12 by week 6 so that we can take you seriously as a national championship contender as well. Great win last night, though, at Hot Seat Arena over Jake Diebler and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Card, any final thoughts before we close the show?
Yeah, I just hope everyone has a great holiday season. Hopefully, we see you guys a couple more times before the actual holiday season comes about. And I also like to extend a quick sorry because I think we should have started this show by telling everyone to turn the brightness down on their screen so that your skin complexion doesn't blind people.
Thank you. I love you. Great show. We'll be back next week, everybody. Have a great week.